Hello, my name is Jillian, the Love Angel, and today is part 4 with Ron Crigger. And Ron is a financial advisor and a abundance life coach, and I'm so excited. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's cold outside, but it's absolutely beautiful. The sky is just clear, and we had snow Friday, and it's still sticking around. And it's just the sun is just beating off the snow. It's beautiful.
Ooh, yeah, it's freezing here. It got down probably about what, 29, 28 degrees. I'm all bundled up, got a fire going.
28. Dang, we got down to I think 14 today.
Really?
Hmm.
Welcome to the Northwest. Well, Northeast with you,
Well, sort of, yeah. Still the Northwest. It's still Washington State, but yeah.
right?
But you may be warmer now, but we get way more sun than you do.
Yeah. And what you were saying where you live is something like with the sun, it means the sun, children of the
Children
sun.
of the
What
sun.
was it?
The meaning of Spokane I've heard is children of the sun.
That is so beautiful. I
Yeah.
am
Spokane
definitely,
is an Indian name. So
yeah,
I haven't really done any deep dive search into it, but that's just what I've heard.
that's beautiful. Let's stay with that. I love it.
Right. Just for those people that'll go going like, okay, what does it really mean? It's just what I've heard. I haven't done any deep research on this. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds good.
Right? Yeah, we like it. So,
Yes.
you know what? Today I'm so excited because our topic is going to be trust, having faith. And this is so beneficial for everyone, especially with what's going on in our world globally right now.
Right.
So yeah, this is going to be juicy. I can already feel it, and I'm really excited about this. So, Ron, just right off the top, what are your feelings? What do you think trust is?
Well, trust and faith are one and the same thing. So trust or faith, whichever one you want to go with, is probably the hardest thing to master. For one, it's not tangible. You can't see it. You can't hold it. You just have to know that it's there.
So is it like a feeling that you will be able to tap into? Can you describe a little bit what you mean by it's not
Well,
tangible? What
what what I've learned through many years of work is there there's like three types of trust. There's higher trust, which would be God or your higher self or whatever your understanding is. It could be Buddha for you. It could be Allah, whatever. So that's higher trust. Then there's inner trust, which is your intuition, your gut feeling that you can feel. Because if you're if you're around somebody that's been giving you bad vibes, you can actually pick that up. It's your inner self going, "Hey, wake up, hello." It's
most
also,
definitely.
you know, most people don't tap into it; they just ignore it. And then there's the outer trust. Outer trust is trusting in other people, like you're that's we're going through a presidential race. Okay, is it my president that I'm going to elect or vote for? You're trusting that they will do a good job for you to represent you. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. So, the third trust you're saying is more like your worldly, your environment. It's trusting
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
So, since you brought up presidents, if you trusted in everything that you voted for the president that you desire, and then that didn't happen, so what then?
Then you need to go within and trust that everything will work out for the highest good, because it always does. The universe, God, source, whatever your understanding is, always brings forth what's best for the highest good. Now, your ego mind may go, well, that's not what I wanted. But, you know, the higher trust always brings in what's best for all. So even though it's not exactly what you want, it's for your best good. Does that make sense?
I just love that. It's good for the all. And if you, so what you're saying is to kind of just settle into that, even though you might not be all happy that your president won, but you're saying to know that source, God, whatever, the first trust is knows what it's doing. That's exactly the good for all.
Right. I want to use another example. Everybody remember, well, most people remember 9/11. It's been a while now, but that was a huge tragedy. I think there was like 2,000 or 3,000 people lost their lives in like within a couple hours. You know, that was a huge tragedy. But after that, the country, the United States, came together. It didn't matter if you were Democrat, Republican, Independent, blue, green, whatever. You were an American. So everything that happens, some good comes out of it. So it really did bring the country together. You know, there was so much love, people helping each other, you know, people raising their flags. And I mean, walking down the street, everybody almost had a flag out. I saw flags on their cars, you know. It didn't matter if it was a Honda or a big, you know, Dodge Ram truck. It didn't matter. Everybody had flags in their cars, you know. So it brought everybody together.
Beautiful, Ron. That's so beautiful. And how true is that? So basically, like for the listener, so trust is even if you're not getting what you put out there that you wanted, to trust that what source God did materialize, to settle into that, knowing that and trusting that that was the best outcome.
Right. So let's use the laws of attraction also on that. If you're manifesting what you want, or you're putting your attention out there, and you get something a little different, it's for the greatest good for you and others. So if you don't exactly get what you want, you're getting the highest and best good for you and others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you know, I'm human, you're human. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to do the topic of trust is my little dog has not been feeling well, and she's going through some medical stuff. And you know, I've been having a real difficult time with that, thinking that, you know, the worst case scenario, it might play out that she, you know, passes. You know, so for me to trust, even if she passes, that that was for the highest good. You know, and that doesn't always come easy. Nobody's here, you and I are not saying it comes easy. However, I have discovered many times, like you're bringing up 9/11, that the tragedy actually did more good because it happened, the blessings in disguise. I've seen it too many times, and I'm sure the listeners are doing the same thing. Like, yeah. So trusting is also knowing that. having enough, experience under your belt that you've seen it too many times. And so for the listener, so, if we're up against something that is, tragedy or, especially things like death, disease, divorces, those are hard things to accept. So you're saying just kind of remind yourself of like what you just presented, and that would help the situation.
Right. So also for the viewers that actually did lose people on 9/11, they're probably thinking, well, no, it wasn't good because I lost my loved one, you know, which is horrible. It really is. I don't want to demise. Oh well, your loved one was sacrificed for the greater good. It still hurts. You still have to grieve. But you need to also realize that we are all here on this earth for a mission and for a certain time, you know. So and we all have different paths. And just look at it like their path that day, unfortunately, because it's not easy to lose a loved one. It's not. You need to grieve. If you hold in the grief, it just eats you alive. But just know that it was their time to go to the light. It's still not easy as you being stuck here still on this earth and they're no longer here. But actually, they really are here. They're just in a different realm. They're still around you. They're still loving you. You can still communicate with them. You can still talk to them and they hear you. So does that help?
So you're saying that there's even a higher purpose that is going to unfold. So what I'm getting is you're crossing the boundaries with the all wise, the all knowing, the all, the eternal part of us is
Correct.
going through certain, if you will, lessons to expand and trigger yourself for this higher purpose.
Correct. Yes. We all came down on this earth knowing what we were going to do. Now, what we don't remember everything that we agreed upon now, but before we came down on this earth and were birthed into this life, we already knew what we were going to go through. We willingly said, I will do it.
Well, that's interesting. I've got my little note right here for the next video with Ron is going to be right there, soul memory. And here you are, or soul contract.
Yes, soul
However,
contract.
I don't want us to squirrel too much off the topic of trust, because
I know, but that just came in.
So good.
That came in, and I thought because of 9/11, we kind of needed to touch on that so people would understand, oh, he's just blowing smoke. Well,
Or this, that it feels like you're downplaying somebody. When
right.
we start talking about this, I told you about what happened to me a couple days back. And
Right.
people can get really offended that it's
Mhm.
like we're downplaying them and like,
No.
we're better than you. Because let me tell you, I'm human. And
Right.
it's all the time that life is, where I'm going through some challenging times. But what Ron and I are here, saying, it's how you deal with it. It's how you process through life. And Ron's talking about the broader view, if you will, and how much
Yes.
more peace that you feel just with this knowledge.
Yes. Yes. So I'll let you lead with trust. What else do you want to cover with trust?
Okay, thank you. Is that I
I'll
would
get you.
like, with these shows, is my intentions, Ron's intentions, I'm sure, is to leave the listener with practical things that they can do to help them. So let's, if you can, so step us through a little bit how that would look like, someone that is trusting. What would that look like?
So when when you trust that everything is going to work out for the best, I mean, the core blocker um, program to trust is worry. Are you worried about something that's going to happen? If you are, you're out of trust. That is the easiest sign. If you're worried, oh, I don't know if this is going to happen. Oh man, am I doing the right thing? That you are not in trust. You are not trusting that things are going to work out for the greatest and highest good. Does that
Oh,
make
that's
sense?
just huge. So, you know, this is something that I remind myself of. We are powerful creators.
We are.
And if I'm worrying, my little mantra or whatever that I say to myself is worrying is a toxic focus. And then I go into all is well. And out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe because this, we talked about it in the last video, is, most people, we've been conditioned to be in that survival mode, and telling yourself that you're safe is right there. How much better you're going to feel. Now, like I said, it's a mantra. So that means I might have to do it 500 times that day, but the level of peace, and that's trusting the universe, that's trusting that higher trust, that
Right.
you're describing to us, that all is well, and out
All
of
is well.
the situation only good will come, and I am safe.
Yes. So what do you think causes that you to get out of alignment? Do you know what it is?
Well, it's always okay, let's go back to my dog. It's the worst case scenarios going through my mind. That worry, that toxic focus is playing over and over. Why think of the worst case scenario? Have that dialogue with yourself. I do. Okay, wait a minute. What's the best case scenario? How do I
Right.
see that playing out? Well, she would get some medication and live a long, healthy life, right?
Right.
But
It's your
go
ego
ahead.
mind making up stories, putting fear in your life to take control of your life. That's what I was trying to get at. I was testing you a little bit. So
It's a good one,
just like
Ron.
just like your dog, you were worried yesterday that your dog had a cough and wasn't doing well, but you gave your dog you said the vet you could give her Benadryl, and look what happened. She was fine, wasn't she?
Well, that's what I mean. This is like, I'm telling the listener is we're all human. Nobody is better than anybody else. And we all have our challenges. However, it's how these little tricks, these little tips that Ron and I are endeavoring to get out there
Right.
help so much. So I caught myself. I caught that, that toxic focus running in the background. And it's how I processed myself out of it that created. Don't ever underestimate that you are all powerful. At least you can tap into that power. And gave her Benadryl, my little dog, and voila, and then ride that wave. This is key too. is, Ron and I have talked about in one of our last videos of being grateful for everything, in the most part, to recognize it, and then just kind of rampage, have a tangent on that, because I certainly did. Was that Benadryl, and my dog is doing so good. She's so healthy and vibrant, and what's the big deal? I got to give her some Benadryl now and then. That's okay, universe. I'll take it.
Mhm. Exactly. And I want to tell the viewers also that you can do exactly what Julian and I do. You gotta do the work and learn it, but we're not that special. We've done the work, we've learned. I mean, I've studied for 4 years now on this stuff, at least 4 years, 5 years, something like that. I don't know. I've lost track, but a while. And I've invested a lot of money in learning it from the right people. Some people are worse than others, and I won't get into that, but you gotta find your spiritual mentor that you trust, and make sure that they are authentic, and open your heart and learn from them.
Yes, absolutely. And reading books, even watching YouTubes, any way form that you can get that knowledge is so important, because most people, they're just playing out the same, like Groundhog Day, the media, and going to work, come home, do the same thing. Well, our brain is literally a computer, and what you download into your brain, and there's another thing, is make it a habit. That's why I said my mantra, I might have to do it 500 times a day, but because that is the programming. I'm deleting old files and trusting this new information. So yeah, absolutely. And then have someone or somebody that could be a mentor, an example for you.
Right. And when you do find that mentor, if it doesn't resonate with you, you don't need to learn that at that time, but you might later on. Just go with the message that resonates with you most, because
Okay.
your heart always knows, and it will tell you if you really listen to it.
Absolutely. And I don't want us, again, to veer off too much, because I still feel like, okay, let's stick with this trust and give examples of what they can do. So, I go back to I love that. So you said there's 3 trusts. And the trust, right, number 1 is this, God, source, universe, whatever it
right,
is.
Higher trust.
Higher trust.
And then there's inner trust, which is your inner knowing, higher self, your gut. A lot of people call intuition, which is all the same. It's your own inner guidance that comes from higher source. We're all one.
Yeah, and I strongly recommend is that for you to start really dialing in that intuition, that trust that we're all born with, and just even if you start there, everybody feels like before you enter a room, if it's going to be safe or not. And start with those little things. Should I go do ABC? And if you start feeling that in your tummy area, and to actually take action with that, to trust that. Wouldn't you agree, Ron?
Yes, And so how do you get there? The easiest way is to meditate. And there are many YouTube videos out there that can teach you that. It's really simple. Very simple.
Yeah,
So-
there's some wonderful guided meditations on YouTube. And absolutely, because what meditation is doing for the listeners out there is meditation is calming all that chatter. And and it's going to take practice like anything else. You're going to have this calmness, this peace. And that's really where trust comes from. Wouldn't you say so, Ron?
I believe so. And just know that, you got to crawl before you can walk. There's very few children that just, oh, I'm going to climb out of my crib and start walking. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you gotta learn. You gotta take baby steps. Just do the research. Learn how to meditate, calm yourself, and just learn. Because the more people out there that we get to do this work and raise their vibration, the better the collective will be.
Ooh, I love that. Yes, yes. And that ultimately is what is going on globally is
Right.
the Great Awakening. What that is every single person on this planet, unless you're gonna pass, is awakening to their divinity.
Right.
And how exciting, how exciting that we came on this planet at the exact most beautiful time for this ascension, for this awakening
Yes.
globally.
Yes. And the reason Jillian and I are so passionate about this, you, the viewer, awakening, is because when you raise your vibration, we get to raise ours. Now chew on that for a minute. So we kind of want you to raise your vibration, because the higher you go, the higher we go.
Oh, I can't quit smiling over it. Yes, yes.
So, even the gurus, yes, they want to make money, they need to make a living, but the real reason, if they're authentic, is they want to go higher. Because when you raise your vibration, it's like a drug. It's the best drug in the world.
Yes, and it comes naturally, and again, like Ron so well said, we don't just get up when we're a baby and start walking. This is a skill. And as I was saying about the brain as a computer, and it's what we do in repetition that it learns. That's how we learn anything. And, what Ron and I are describing, learning the law of attraction and all the metaphysical stuff. It's a skill. It's a way of living your moment by moment, day after day life, and it didn't just come boom.
Right. Yeah. It will come through. And it's going to get easier and easier for people as we go along. It's just like, I grew up with rotary phones, actually party lines. People are going, what the heck is a party line?
Explain
That shows my age a little bit there.
Party line is.
A party line used to be, no one really had a private phone line. So people on your block had the same line, telephone line. So you had to pick up the phone before you dialed to see if anybody was talking.
Oh, really?
Dial the number that you were trying to reach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You didn't know that?
Well, you know what I'm thinking of is that's the way consciousness works. Is
Mhm.
as you were describing it, learning these techniques is coming easier the more people that are on board and doing this. So it's kind of like the phone, where this is all online. This is all in the consciousness. And it's where we, just like the phone, what number, you got to get specific and dial in that number to be able to tune into that.
Mhm. Exactly.
I love that
Exactly.
analogy. That's good, Ron.
Now our phones are cellular smartphones, and no one even calls anymore. They text or, do Zoom calls, FaceTime, you know, it's just the
Things are
tech
getting easier.
easier and easier and easier. So, it's going to it's going to keep expanding. That's what the universe does. It's constantly expanding.
You know,
We are not going to be in the same place this year as next year. We're going to be more expanded. It's law. We
things are getting easier. I love that. It's okay. You talk about having trust right there. Just look back a couple years back in your life and how much easier life is becoming. Not just technology, but with an array of really everything, it's becoming easier. So back to trust is trusting that whatever happens, back to the president, if your president that you voted for didn't get voted in, that higher good is going to play out, because life is always evolving, life is always expanding, and where it's expanding and evolving to, it's always love. It's always love. I mean, just go back in our history, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and it's always taking this path towards love, towards goodness, always.
And love is the most powerful energy in the universe, hands down.
Well, and if we can just really, know this information that, both you and I are describing, how much easier life is going to be, how much more you're going to be, enjoy, instead of despair and, unworthiness or overwhelmed, by
Right.
trusting and looking at the bigger picture. It's like, wow, I do see that life is getting easier, it's getting better. We're not
It
deep.
is getting better and easier. And another thing you can do with trust is look back and see, how things played out, and how things really did work out for the better. Just go back to your old stories that you were worried, and go, no, that really didn't happen that way. So when your story comes up that you're in worry that something's going to happen, go, okay, why am I thinking of this? This hasn't happened yet. So change your thought to, well, this is what I want for the highest and best good of all.
Right. And I am safe.
You are safe. You deserve love. Nothing that you have done in your life doesn't mean that you don't deserve love. Everyone on this planet, every being, tree, plant, animal, dog, cat, rat, deserves love, no matter what.
Absolutely. Wow, this was wonderful show. And again, it's always my intention to leave the listener with that look for the good. Oh, if you can just even commit to yourself one day of looking only for the good, and catch yourself when you're not, and go back to looking what's going right, what is good, what can I give my gratitude to, just in that one day, how much better you're going to feel.
Right. I'll leave with one more thing. So when something happens, first thing I do is like, okay, what is the good that's going to come out of this? And what is the lesson that I need to learn from this outcome?
Mm, beautiful. Oh, I love it. Well, let's end here on our high note. And both Ron and I really, really hope, our intentions is that we gave you some practical techniques and just uplifted, made your day a little bit better.
Yes, that is our intention.
Mm. All right, Ron. Namaste.
Namaste. I got you to do it finally.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click us off.
Okay.